are going to discuss more about a very important and often used grammar, the simple past tense. Learning objectives are asking and answering simple past questions and use simple past regular and irregular verbs. Definition of the simple past tense. The simple past tense is used to talk about a completed action in a time before now. The simple past tense is the basic form of past tense in English. The time of the action can be in the recent past or the distant past, and action duration is not important. Examples: my parents gave me a doll on my birthday last year. I went to see my brother at school yesterday. I got this beautiful Barbie doll from my father 2 years ago. I grabbed first position in the dance competition last week. You always use the simple past when you say when something happened, so it is associated with certain past time expressions. Here are lists of simple past tense of to be, to have, and to do. For subject I, it is going to use was, had, did. For subject you, it is going to use were, had, did. For subject he, she, and it is going to use was, had, did. For subject we are going to use were, had, did. For subject you, we are going to use were, had, did. And for subject they, we are going to use were, had, did. Now, let's talk more about simple past tense. Frequency, such as usually, always, often, sometimes, seldom, and never. Examples: I often brought my lunchbox to school. Linda usually went home at lunchtime. A definite point in time, such as last, yesterday, ago, when I was. Examples: the children saw a cartoon movie last night. I got this beautiful Barbie doll when I was a kid. An indefinite point in time, such as ages ago, the other day, a long time ago. Example: the ancestors lived in caves a long time ago. Note: the word ago is a useful way of expressing the distance into the past. It is placed after the period of time. A week ago, 3 years ago, a minute ago. We are going to learn about forming the simple past tense, patterns of simple past tense for regular verbs. Affirmative: subject plus verb to. Example: he studied for a test last night. Negative: subject plus did not plus verb 1. Example: he didn't study for a test last night. Interrogative: did plus subject plus verb 1. WH or H plus did plus subject plus verb 1. Example: did he study for a test last night? What did he study for a test last night? Interrogative negative. Did not plus subject plus verb 1. Example. Didn't he study? Now, this is the information that we need to learn more. Example. To work. Negative, I worked. Interrogative, I didn't work. WH or H plus did you work? Another example. You work. Negative, you didn't work. Interrogative, WH or H plus did you work? Another example. He or James worked. Negative, he or James didn't work. Interrogative, WH or H plus did he or James work? Another example. She or Susan worked. Negative, she or Susan didn't work. Interrogative, WH or H plus did she or Susan work? Another example. We or I and Wanda worked. Negative, we or I and Wanda didn't work. Interrogative, WH or H plus did you work? Another example. They or James and Susan worked. Negative, they or James and Susan didn't work. Interrogative, WH or H plus did they or James and Susan work? Simple past tense is using past tense verbs. Now, we are going to learn about those verbs. There are regular and irregular verbs. All verbs, whether regular or irregular, have 5 forms, often called principal parts. These forms are the infinitive, simple present, simple past, past participle, and present participle. The difference between a regular and an irregular verb is the formation of the simple past and past participle. Regular verbs are dependably consistent. The simple past ends in ed, as does the past participle. Examples are given below. For present tense, laugh, start, studies. For past tense, laughed, started, studied, washed. For past participle, laughed, started, studied, washed. In contrast, the simple past and past participle of irregular verbs can end in a variety of ways, with absolutely no consistent pattern. Here are some examples. The present tense: drives, feels, put. The past tense: drove, felt, put, swam. The past participle: driven, felt, put, swam. Now, we are going to discuss about simple past irregular verbs. Some verbs are irregular in the simple past. Here are the most common ones. The first one, to go. He went to a club last night. Did he go to the cinema last night? He didn't go to bed early last night. The second one, to give. We gave her a doll for her birthday. They didn't give John their new address. Did Barry give you my passport? The third one, to come. My parents came to visit me last July. We didn't come because it was raining. Did he come to your party last week? Let's continue on the materials about past habit, used to. When we talk about things that happened in the past but don't happen anymore, we can do it in different ways. Used to. Example, we used to live in Makassar when I was a kid. There didn't used to be a petrol station there. When was it built? We can use used to talk about past states. Examples. I used to go swimming every Thursday when I was at school. I used to smoke, but I gave up a few years ago. Or we can use used to talk about repeated past actions. Remember that used to is only for past states or actions that don't happen now. We can't use it for things that still happen now. Also, used to plus infinitive shouldn't be confused with be or get used to plus ing form. This is covered in a separate section.